Good evening. Today is September 16th. We are conducting a public hearing regarding the New Dawn Charter High School. Before we begin, the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'll lead it.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just a note, this is a public hearing. Speakers are allowed to speak as long as they want without interruption, and we have several signed up. Mr. McCoy will read the list.
First person to speak tonight will be the Deputy Superintendent, Ms. Onyx Peterson.
I had a little technical difficulty. So tonight for the public hearing, I am going to present the proposal and our reasons for concerns around the new Dawn Charter School. I presented this previously, and I reviewed much of it with Dr. Manning Campbell, and we are in agreement with the proposal for New Dawn. Within their proposal that they submitted to state education, they are talking about enrollment of up to 350 students within the NECSD school boundaries. And their mission is to serve the over age and undercredited students from ages of 16 to 21. We are projecting that if approved and to reach full participation, it would be about $9.6 million a year, and projected even within their documentation over the 5 years of costing the district and its taxpayers over $32.7 million. These additional costs come from transportation, some special education, and other services that we would have to provide as the local organization for textbooks and other technologies. These will reduce all resources to NECSD students. When we look at statewide and how charter schools pose fiscal burdens to school districts similar to ours, in a NSBA report, they have tremendously weakened the fiscal havoc on public schools in that area. So if we look at Buffalo Public Schools and Rochester City Schools and Schenectady, we can see how much yearly a charter school has to impact the overall funding and resources to the local school district. The reason why we oppose charters in Newburgh is that Newburgh is a very unique learning environment. And we have many of the things that New Dawn is trying to offer. We are on our way to opening up a CTE center in next fall, and we have those opportunities now. We also offer our students many CTE work-based learning opportunities, whether it's at our main high school or within our West Campus. We do also provide credit recovery programs in the evening for our students to partake in as a part of our evening campus. And we really try to focus on college and career readiness and alternative education for students that fall within this population. When we look about academic performance, one thing that is very concerning is that charters are not held to the same academic performance standards as public schools. And we can see this by looking at some of the charter schools that are in the area that serve similar populations. If we look at Albany Covenant's charter school proficiency rates, Troy and Rochester, which have similar demographics to Newburgh, we can see that their performance is below. And this was found also in a NSBA 2023 report. Some of the concerns that we have with the charter school in Newburgh is that we've already had our Board of Education. At our last meeting, there was a resolution that was passed that strongly opposed the development of the Newburgh Charter School New Dawn Charter School. I don't want to confuse what it's called. And we have elected officials here tonight that are also going to raise their concerns about how this can fiscally impact the Newburgh and Large City School District. We also have union leaders here to speak about the lack of accountability surrounding charter schools, the diversion of funds to the charter schools, and some of the duplication of services that we already offer students and family. Our feedback from the community has said that this is a duplication of services. It also is going to pose larger equity concerns within our district. Newburgh and Large City School District serves a large L population as well as special ed populations, and charter schools often counsel out or do not accept students of these populations. And what that means for our public school district, it means that those special populations would be ours to fund and to ensure that they receive a free and appropriate education. Now, we dug a little bit deeper into some of the concerns that were in the proposed application to State Education Department. And what we saw is that they're also proposing to spend $200,000 to renovate and reinvent a proposed space. That would be our tax dollars. There would also be 2.5 to renovate the space that was just occupied in 2010. They also propose to hire teachers who are working towards or not certified teachers. And as many of you, the board and the community know, that we always we must hire certified teachers that have gone through their education and are certified with the appropriate, they're hired with the appropriate education and certification in New York State. If we look at the two New Dawn Charter schools and we look at their data, we see that in New Dawn Charter 1, they have a 48% graduation rate, and New Dawn Charter 2 has a 28% graduation rate, which is very concerning as we are trying to improve opportunities for our students. Now this slide, I want to do some comparison, because one of the things that was brought up at the last public hearing that I think is important to talk about, we did have a charter school once here in our district, and we want to talk a little bit about what was proposed and what the actual stats around that actually are. So when Newburgh Charter, they had Newburgh Prep, I think it was in about 2014, they were established, and their projected enrollment was 305. So if I looked at their actual enrollment, they garnered about 237 of those students to enroll in their charter school. Of that 237 students, 159 ultimately dropped out, which left them at an enrollment of 78. And out of those 78 students, about 24% or 57% of their initial enrollment actually graduated. And the projected cost from our school district to Newburgh Prep was about $21 million. So are we going to do this again? New Dawn is projecting actually more students than Newburgh Charter did. If we look at their two graduation rates from their two current institutions, it's less than what we have at Newburgh and Large City School District, and the projected cost in their actual application to the state is around $32 million. So this is very, very concerning. We've done this as a community, and it has an impact on our overall fiscal health. So we urge the Board of Regents to deny the application for New Dawn Charter School in our community, because we feel that this is going to be a significant financial burden. We are on we see our CTE building on the horizon. We feel like it's a duplication of services. Many leaders and community members will speak today about that duplication. There's no proven academic advantage, and it risks exacerbating some of the inequities that we see within our community. We also have that community opposition, which we'll hear more about this evening, concerning some of the lack of equity and lack of funding. And here's our timeline. So we are at our second public hearing because we felt that it was important to have another opportunity set aside from a board meeting for community members to come out and to speak about their concerns, which is tonight. Public comments will be accepted at the New York State Education Department. The deadline for that is the 22nd, so we have about a week if you want to create a proposal or a petition or assign something to your elected officials. You have until September 22nd to do that, and the Board of Regents will meet in November with their final decision on the proposed application. So we are committed, in conclusion, to providing innovative program and to serve all students equitably within the community and to build strong partnerships. The approval of the new Durham Charter School destabilizes and our existing efforts to move forward in our CTE program and other programs throughout the district. So we respectfully urge the rejection of this proposal by the New York State Board of Regents. Thank you.
Senator James Skoufis.
Good evening, and thank you for having this public hearing and the opportunity. I appreciate the usually thankless work that school board members engage in with their community. And tonight, I also want to express my strong opposition and stand united with the school board here, the Teachers Association, many community leaders in strongly and urgently opposing the New Dawn Charter School application. I think we can all agree that our responsibility as stakeholders and stewards of this district is to pursue all avenues that lead to more and better for our students and our families. New Dawn's proposal is not one of these avenues. The answer to wanting more and better for our students is not to siphon resources away from them. The answer is not to open our doors to an existing charter school network whose own graduation rates are below 30%, and where over 97% of students are chronically absent. And the answer is certainly not to establish a potentially exclusionary, quasi-private institution that feeds off local taxpayers and sidesteps hardworking union labor while turning students away. In New Dawn's application, they cite overwhelming local support for establishing this sort of charter in Newburgh. And in fact, 100% of respondents to a survey they've conducted expressing being in favor. But how many folks filled out this survey to prove New Dawn's local support? Just 12, many of whom I'm sure were handpicked to receive that survey. And how many individuals live in the school district? Approximately 68,000. They surveyed 12 of 68,000. If you do the math, that is 0.0002% of the district's population. And from that, they somehow purport there is community support for this application. Current estimates suggest that if fully enrolled, New Dawn stands to divert about $9.6 million per year away from the Newburgh and Large City School District. New Dawn will also spend significantly less per pupil while attempting to provide an enhanced level of instruction and service to high-risk, high-need students. How in the world will they do this? By skimping on teacher pay and benefits? By cutting corners? By ultimately relying more on services provided by the district than services they themselves are able to offer? No matter how you look at this, New Dawn is a raw deal for our taxpayers, students, educators, and families of Newburgh, New Windsor, and surrounding municipalities. I strongly oppose this charter. It would be the only one in all of Orange County, and urge district residents to register their concern with SED before September 22nd. We all agree that Newburgh students deserve better, but this isn't it. Thank you very much.
Assemblyman Christopher Ekus.
I'm back. I am Assemblyman Christopher Ekus. I am a resident of this school district. I taught here for many years, and I proudly wear my Newburgh pin. I strongly oppose this idea of a charter school. I sent letters to the Commissioner of the State Ed Department and to every one of the Board of Regents members, stating that I oppose it and the reasons why I oppose it. The reasons I do. Well, the first thing that I'm offended by is when you go up on New Dawn's charter website, they have Newburgh listed as number 3. That's crap. That's wrong. That is absolutely wrong. But next, like everybody else, I have fiscal concerns. You know, if we don't read and learn from our history, we're bound to repeat it. And the history of a charter school here in Newburgh is awful, as you know. I was here, I was teaching in this school district at that time. I opposed it at that time, it still came through. But it came through because the school board, of which I don't think any members here were a part of, sent a letter in support of it. And I know that now there was a vote taken and that every school member opposes it, which I'm very pleased about. It's nice being on the side with everybody behind you. I also worry about the duplication of services. This is an amazing school. I was just telling somebody today about the fact that I could build solar cars and electric cars, real solar cars, race them across country, electric cars, race them across country, take national championships, go to the world because of what Newburgh is. And bringing a charter school in here will take much of that away. We already know, and I mentioned at my last board meeting, that we're in a quandary about what the budget will be for next year. Look, we do have a law that says each school district should receive what they received in the prior school district, but where's that going to come from if the federal government's taking away 15 to 16% of your budget? We have a very difficult time coming to us. Equity and accessibility, accountability issues. It's already been told to you. I don't need to go over it. There is absolutely nothing that says charter schools assist in graduation rates, and especially with those that have difficulty. It is programs that we are already considering here in Newburgh that are going to help those kids that have trouble getting through school and going to give them other paths to get out of here. The community opposition. It's funny, the senator just talked about the 100% backing for this. Well, we had part of a public meeting already. We had a whole public meeting. We didn't hear anybody speak for the charter schools, okay? There really is nobody except a very few handful, as mentioned. And I think that the larger part of this community, and it's going to be an assumption on my part, but when they're informed, would also oppose this charter school. And finally, for all of these reasons, and because of my experience here in Newburgh with charter schools, I oppose the application for the New Dawn Charter High School 3. Our community needs to invest in our public schools in Newburgh and strengthen, not weaken, our services offered to the students. Thank you.
Assemblyman Jonathan Jacobson.
Thank you for having this public hearing and giving me a chance to speak on this important topic. I strongly oppose the proposed New Dawn 3 Charter High School. I say this as the Assembly member representing the city and town of Newburgh, a city of Newburgh taxpayer, and a proud graduate of the Newburgh school system. It is clear that diverting an estimated $9.6 million per year from the school budget is reckless and a huge mistake. And that amount is based on New Dawn's own numbers. Additional costs such as transportation, special education, and instructional resources would further reduce the resources available for students in the district. The last mistake, Newburgh Prep, which is now defunct, cost the school district over $21 million over 5 years. New Dawn is claiming that it is the solution for re-engaging Newburgh students who are overaged or undercredited from ages 15 to 21, citing NFA's graduation rate of 72%. But this argument falls far short of reality. First, New Dawn's track record is very poor, with a graduation rate of 48% at its school in Brooklyn and 28% graduation rate at its school in Queens. It makes no sense to enable such an organization with such a poor record. Second, New Dawn's proposal would only duplicate efforts already underway by the school district. New Dawn's proposal ignores the fact that many of the dropouts do work and would not be able to attend classes during the day. The Newburgh School District offers evening classes as well as day classes. And of course, the district has a very highly rated career and technical education program, which will entice these former students to re-engage. We must remember that many of the students at risk for dropping out, who have dropped out, are high-need students who require additional services, such as English language learners. Charter schools have an uneven record at best for these students and those with special needs. This new charter school proposal is no solution. It is merely an opportunistic attempt to funnel public funds from a school system that is working to overcome the challenges. This proposal would add another hurdle to the district by reducing its budget and increasing competition for qualified staff. I join the board, the Newburgh Teachers Association, NAACP, other community groups, and my neighbors and my colleagues in the state legislature in opposing this application. We all share a goal for the Newburgh School District to do better. Approving this charter school district will not help the students in the district. Thank you.
Ms. Stacy Moran.
Good evening. My name is Stacy Moran, and I'm the president of the Newburgh Teachers Association. I am here tonight to express my personal opposition as well as my union's opposition to the application for the New Dawn Charter High School. New Dawn will take much-needed resources away from the Newburgh School District. As a result, the NECSD will have less money to provide the services and resources to all of our students. It is estimated that New Dawn will take $9.6 million a year from the children of Newburgh, and that amount does not include the additional charges to the Newburgh District for busing, special education services, textbooks, and software. In addition, charter schools like New Dawn are publicly funded but privately run by unelected boards which are not answerable to the community, so there will be no transparency. In addition, their annual budgets are not voted on by the public the way the NECSD budget is. This means New Dawn Charter High School will never be held accountable by the public for how they spend the public's taxpayer dollars. New Dawn will cost the district a lot of money and provide nothing for our students that we do not already provide. Our district is known for the amount of programs we have for students. Our students have access to amazing career and technical education classes, internship and work-based learning, credit recovery programs, and alternative education supports for overaged and undercredited students. New Dawn would take millions of dollars away from our public schools and offer nothing new. There is one difference between New Dawn and the schools in the Newburgh and Large City School District. As a charter school, they will be able to exclude or kick out any student they want. Our district educates every student, every Goldback, every day. Charter schools can leave out students with disabilities and students with higher needs, while leaving less funds in the public schools that are required to educate all the children in a community. There is also no proof that charters are more successful than public schools. Often, charter schools fail to live up to their claims, and as a result, many states are now closing them. Charter schools are forced into districts against their will. Anyone can apply to open and operate a charter school and get public money for it. They don't have to be educators. They don't have to be well-meaning, honest, or even competent. School boards cannot reject their application. That responsibility is left to the state. So I am imploring the Board of Regents to reject New Dawn Charter High School's application because of the harm it will do to the children and community of Newburgh. Thank you very much.
Ms. Sandra Wood.
Good evening, President Doré, members of the Board of Education, Deputy Superintendent Ms. Peterson, the Administrative Cabinet, and members of the NECSD school community. My name is Sandra Wood, and I am the NFA Evening High School House Principal. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share some highlights from the Evening Campus program. Our mission is simple, but powerful: to provide academic pathways, strong family engagement, a career connections that help scholars reach graduation and walk across academy field. I don't have a clicker, so it's okay, Onyx, if you want to just follow me, that's okay. I'm going to keep going. Students have access to a wide range of supports. These include credit recovery, CTE courses with no prerequisites, and high school equivalency programs for ESL, adult basic education, and GED. We also offer flexible scheduling, dual enrollment options, and independent study when available. Social emotional learning is embedded throughout our work. I'm very proud of the next part of this speech, performance data. And then let me see if I can figure out this clicker. I said all of this now. We actually have a school comprehensive plan that we update every year. This is what I'm proud of. For the 2024-2025 school year, I am proud to share that the attendance rate was 95%, and the academic pass rate was 87%. These numbers reflect both the dedication of our scholars and the strong support system we have in place. The EHS retention of its teachers is overwhelmingly high and at 97%. All of our teachers are kind, caring, and empathetic while holding high standards of learning. Family and community engagement. We place a big emphasis on family connections. We make daily calls, emails, we send letters, and even conduct home visits. We recognize students with positive reinforcement, whether that's a phone call home, a meal, or incentives like homework passes, or 100% grade on a quiz for exemplary citizenship. And of course, we provide snacks at night that everyone loves. Let's see. In closing, Evening Campus helped 111 scholars cross Academy Field in 2025. That is an accomplishment we are deeply proud of. I want to thank you for your continued support of EHS. Your commitment truly makes a difference in the lives of our students. And then just to share, because I didn't want to bore everyone, I'm not sure if we can pull up the schedule, the EHS schedule, just to give you an idea of what it looks like. It runs like a college campus. We have courses on Monday only that are for 3 hours. We have courses on Monday, Wednesday for an hour and a half. Tuesday, Thursday courses run from 2:30 to 4 or an hour and a half, or 4:05 to 5:35, and we have Friday only classes. Okay. What else did I have on that slide? Of course, we have our protocols. I stated all of this already, if you could keep going. We also have offered quarterly credit recovery in the past, and you'll see that 89% of our students passed. And what quarterly credit recovery means is if a student has failed a course and we offer it, they can come to us for 5 weeks, similar to summer school. We take the grade that they get in quarterly credit recovery with the grade that they originally received. We divide it by 2 and they get a new grade. And in many cases, we have helped several students graduate by having quarterly credit recovery. We have credit recovery, of course, like I mentioned before. You fail a class, you can come to us and take it in half the time. And I'm glad that I'm able to speak tonight so that I can get the word out to the public that we exist, because many times we are your silent soldiers out there. But we love our children, and we put your children first and foremost. We love them dearly and want to help them. So spread the word about evening school. And so far, before I conclude, we have over 110 signed up right now in our first week of enrollment. We still have 2 more weeks of enrollment. We helped 254 students. I did have more data. If you could go one more slide. That was the data for the GED program. If you could go one more slide. Well, that states the 111, but again, we had 87% of our students pass. So I'm proud of that. And we help all students. Like, yeah. All students are welcome. I'll word it that way. If you're a 9th grader and you want to get ahead and graduate early, you can come to evening school. We have no prerequisites. If you're a 10th, 11th, and 12th grader and you've messed up a little bit, you can come and we'll help you out. So thank you so much for letting me present.
Gabrielle Hill.
Good evening, everyone. Ooh, maybe I don't need that. Wow, Miss Wood. Can everyone hear me? I just met Miss Wood. Do you mind coming here for 1 second? Sure. I just met Miss Wood this evening, and she complimented me on my shirt, saying she had a picture like this in her office. So I took that opportunity to ask her if she was an administrator or teacher, and she said yes, of evening school. And then I said, well, you probably know my daughter, Jo May. And she had that big smile, which makes a parent happy, right? Because you want to hear good things about your children. And I want to publicly thank you. I know we're talking a lot about money, but this is irreplaceable. We cannot put a dollar amount on this. My daughter came from another district. She had some health issues and she fell behind. But she was determined. She said, I want to graduate on time. And Miss Wood, I never had to tell Jo May or remind her what time it was to go to school. She always looked forward to going to evening school. And I didn't know what was going on, but now I know. Now I know. And I just want to publicly thank you and say if I was a student, I'd probably want to go to evening school too.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Speaking of Jo May, we understand our superintendent, Ms. Campbell, is not here, and Freeman Mack and board member Phil Howard. I don't know where the other board members are, but thank you very much, Deputy Peterson, for that beautiful, beautiful, detailed presentation. And these are just some words from Jo May. Often our students are left out of the conversation. So I sent her a selfie of Ms. Wood and I, and this is what she had to say. I'm writing to you regarding the charter school proposal. Recently in August, I graduated in the class of 2025. It was one of the most important and exciting days of my life. The feeling of accomplishment was overwhelming, but I didn't do it alone. In addition to my parents and peer support, Ms. Wood and other faculty members was instrumental in keeping me on task and encouraged, because sometimes all those classes can be very, very overwhelming. The credit recovery program was pivotal to my success. Instead of a charter school, let's consider expanding, giving you more work, evening school. Let's consider expanding evening school for students who may not be able to attend day school. Some students have to take care of elderly grandparents or go to work to support their family. These opportunities are critical for our success, and we need more of it. I respectfully urge our board to reject the New Dawn Charter School. Sincerely, Jo May Hill, Go Back for Life, 2025. Thank you. Oh, Go Back for Life, 1983. Thank you.
Cameron Ford.
Good evening. My name is Cameron Ford. I'm an NFA West senior, a New York State MBK fellow, and I'm representing the Student Choice Coalition. There's a threat to our sense of community. There's a threat to district funds. There is something trying to wedge itself into our district, and it's the New Dawn Charter 3 school. Unfortunately, charter schools follow a pattern trailed in inadequate teaching methods, and a pattern such as this has no place in our district. The president of the American Federation of Teachers has made it very clear how charter schools, quote, become a diversion from the real work of improving public education, quote. The Student Choice Coalition strongly opposes the proposed New Dawn Charter School. Charter schools are known for cherry-picking students, which leads to educational inequality and skewed data on standardized tests, which charter schools love to highlight. This publicly funded but independent school will lead to separate and unequal opportunities, which we know hasn't worked in America's past. My peers do not deserve to be ripped from their seats in class, to be dropped in an institution that does not prove to be more beneficial from the one they came from. My peers do not deserve to say goodbye to staff members who have devoted blood, sweat, and tears to their growth. My peers do not deserve the New Dawn Charter School 3. A concerned mother in our community who had a daughter in a charter school feels that a sudden change in curriculum and setting will prove more problematic than beneficial to students. In addition, she believes, quote, charter schools teach kids how to be test takers. That's it, quote. So to New York State, hear the teachers, hear the parents, and if all else fails, hear the students. Thank you.
Melissa Higgins.
Hi, good evening, members of the board and fellow community members. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Melissa Higgins, New Windsor resident, and I've worked in the district as a teacher for 24 years. My husband and I have 5 children, 2 of whom have already graduated from NFA. We also currently have a junior in the P-Tech program at North and an 8th grader and a 3rd grader at Temple Hill. I stand before you because I care deeply about the students in the Newburgh Enlarged City School District. Our children deserve fully funded, thriving public schools that serve every student, regardless of their background, needs, or abilities. When a charter school is introduced into a district, it does not create new funding. It divides existing funding. Every dollar that follows a student to a charter school is a dollar taken away from our public schools. That means fewer resources for classrooms, fewer supports for teachers, and less funding for special education, arts programs, sports, mental health services that so many of our students rely on. Unlike public schools, charter schools are not designed to serve all children equally. Public schools welcome everyone, students with disabilities, English language learners, and children from every neighborhood. If we divert funds to a charter school, we risk creating a system where only some students benefit while the majority are left with fewer opportunities. Here in Newburgh, our district already faces challenges with underfunding. We should be focused on investing in smaller class sizes, updated facilities, after-school programs, and the supports that truly make a difference in a child's life. These are the investments that strengthen our community and ensure that every student has a chance to succeed. For these reasons, I respectfully urge you to oppose the establishment of the New Dawn Charter High School in our district. Let's keep our focus where it belongs, on strengthening public schools and ensuring that every child in the Newburgh Enlarged City School District has access to the high-quality education that they deserve. Thank you.
Krista Espinoza.
Good evening. My name is Krista Espinoza, and I'm here to voice my vehement opposition to opening a charter school here in Newburgh, the city where I live and pay taxes, and the school district where I have been proudly and enthusiastically teaching for the past 11 years. Charter schools are privately owned and operated, yet they are paid for by public tax dollars. It is projected that the New Dawn Charter School at full enrollment would divert nearly $9.6 million each year away from the Newburgh Enlarged City School District. Please consider the negative impact that would have on funding in our current schools. Which programs would have to go? Currently, the public elementary schools in Newburgh boast after-school programs, STEAM programs, academic intervention services, dual language classes, an international baccalaureate program, orchestras, bands, and choruses. Not to mention all of our students receive free breakfast and lunch. In the middle and high school levels, the public schools in our district boast advanced and honors classes, college courses, career and technical programs that allow students to graduate with associate's degrees, robust athletics, music, and arts departments. Which of these programs is worth sacrificing or shortchanging to allow for a charter school that is not subject to public oversight? Which jobs would get cut? Teachers, teachers' assistants, instructional coaches, speech and language pathologists, occupational therapists, school psychologists, school counselors, school social workers. Which do our public school students deserve to lose access to? Additionally, charter schools often contribute to, rather than eradicate, racial and socioeconomic school segregation due to their ability to exclude or expel any students that may not fit their requirements. Historically in New York, charter schools have enrolled fewer students with disabilities and fewer English language learners, leaving those students in the public schools whose resources have been funneled away from them. Additionally, the autonomous status of charter schools allows them to operate without public oversight, therefore allowing for the misappropriation and/or waste of funds that have been pulled from the public school district they once belonged to. Our Newburgh students deserve better than that. They deserve for every cent of public tax funds to be spent on our public schools, where the programming, curriculum, hiring, and all other financial decisions are public knowledge. For these and countless other reasons, I am asking that the application for a charter school in Newburgh be denied. Thank you.
Dawn Fuchek.
Good evening, Dawn Fuchek. I'm a resident of the Newburgh Enlarged City School District. I'm a parent of 4 children who are graduated out of the school district and currently the proud grandparent of 2 grandchildren in the school district. Team, I'm here tonight to express my strong opposition to the proposed New Dawn 3 charter school. Our district already faces significant challenges, from improving student achievement and addressing literacy and graduation rates to ensuring that every child has access to the resources and supports that they need. Diverting funding to a charter school will only worsen these challenges. The proposed charter school would divert approximately $9.6 million a year, or a total of $32.7 million over the course of 5 years. Those costs are coming and associated with things like transportation, special education, and other instructional resources. Every dollar that follows a student out of our public schools is $1 less for the programs, services, and staff that directly benefit the thousands of children that we serve here in the Newburgh Enlarged City School District. Research consistently shows that charter schools do not outperform traditional public schools when it comes to academic achievement, particularly in communities like ours, where students already face economic and social barriers. That data has been presented to you already this evening. Instead, they often create further inequities by draining resources, fragmenting services, and leaving the public school district to do more with less. Rather than investing in another charter school, we should be strengthening the schools and programs that we already have. Schools and programs here that serve every child, regardless of ability, background, or need. Our focus should be on improving instruction, expanding enrichment opportunities, supporting our teachers, and ensuring stability and accountability within the Newburgh Enlarged City School District. The solution to our district's challenges is not outsourcing education to outside entities, but to working together to invest and strengthen the schools that are the foundation of this community. For these reasons, I urge the New York State Board of Regents to reject the application of the New Dawn 3 charter school. Our students and our community deserve better. Thank you.
If anybody else would like to make a comment, please come to the podium.
Good evening, Matthew Skelly, City of Newburgh resident, Vice President of the Newburgh Teachers Association. We're here again to our opposition of the New Dawn Charter School. I'm going to kind of repeat what everybody else has been saying. But first, the proposal, serious financial burden. Second, the charter school is kind of redundant. We already have West, we have CTLE projects. Third, we've seen this before, the failure of the Newburgh Prep School. We didn't like that. And finally, the proposal raises serious concerns about the equity and accountability of charter schools everywhere. So let us send a strong, unwavering message to the Board of Regents. Newburgh does not need this charter school. Our public schools are not for sale. Thank you.
Good evening, Claudine Mazza, Town of New Windsor resident, reading teacher at GAMS for 26 years. My daughter is an NFA North graduate and SUNY Purchase graduate. I stand before you today not just as a proud member of my union, but as a fierce defender of public education. We believe in public education for all, not for a select few. That is why we must oppose the continued and misguided expansion of charter schools. Our unions have a proud history of advocating for our members and our students. We have fought for and won for better conditions for our students, including smaller class sizes and more support staff, like counselors, social workers, and nurses. We have ensured our members have the resources they need to provide the best education possible. Our fight against charter schools is a continuation of that mission. I oppose the New Dawn Charter School.
Good evening. My name is Zoe Matthews, and I'm a resident of the town of Newburgh, New York, and have taught in the district for 27 years. My children are graduates of 2018 and 2020. I'm here tonight to express my strong opposition to the proposal to open a new charter school in our community. First, I want to be clear that I support high-quality education for all students, but opening a new charter school doesn't accomplish that. It undermines it. Our public schools are already stretched thin. Every dollar that goes to a charter school is a dollar taken from our public system. The teachers, special education services, extracurriculars, and essential programs that serve all students. Charters often serve fewer students with disabilities, fewer English learners, and fewer students living in poverty. That creates inequity and shifts the burden onto public schools without the resources necessary to support it. Additionally, this charter will not be governed by this elected board. That means less transparency, less accountability, and fewer voices from the community at the table. That's not what our families deserve. We should be investing in the schools we already have, not creating competition that divides us and drains us. I urge the Board of Regents to stand up for the public schools that serve all of our children and reject the application of this proposed charter school. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jennifer Costabile, and I've been a proud English teacher in the NECSD for 29 years. I strongly oppose even entertaining the idea of this New Dawn Charter School. We serve, as we know, a very diverse population of students, many who live under the poverty line and face great instability in their lives. Our district's public schools offer already the stability our students need with our robust programs during and after the school day, and most importantly, we employ highly qualified teachers who hold the required bachelor's and master's degrees. I say this because New York State only mandates that 30% of employees hired to teach in charter schools have to hold any degree at all. As such, almost anybody qualified to be an educator or not, can be hired to instruct our students. So potentially, NECSD students could be instructed by a person with no teaching knowledge or experience. Additionally, there is extremely high turnover of instructors in charter schools. The impact on our most vulnerable students who may already lack stability could be catastrophic. Not long ago, Newburgh had a charter school called Newburgh Prep, which failed miserably and folded after just a few years. In fact, statistically, most charter schools fold within 5 years. And since there is very little oversight, charter schools can shut down without any warning to students and families, and at any time, even in the middle of a school year. I'd like to close by saying that our high school will be opening a career and tech education building next fall to add numerous educational and technical training opportunities to our already established rich programs that serve every student in the district: exceptional learners, English language learners, advanced learners, behaviorally challenged learners. The point is, charter schools can pick and choose who they enroll, and that is discriminatory and inequitable. I am in absolute opposition to the New Dawn Charter School opening in the NECSD community, and I urge the Board of Regents to support our public schools and say no to a charter opening up here to prey upon our community. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Michelle Bowe, and I've been a Town of Newburgh resident my entire life. I'm also a second-generation Newburgh graduate. I attended Meadow Hill, the Old North High, NFA Maine, go class of '92. I'm also the mother of 2 Newburgh graduates who attended Fostertown Heritage and NFA Maine, classes of 2020 and 2023. More than that, I've been a teacher in Newburgh for 26 years, giving back to the public school district that gave so much to me. Newburgh has always been a district of wide opportunities for all. I oppose the New Dawn Charter School. First, the money that will be taken from our district will be catastrophic to the programs that prepare our students for careers and college. It will cripple a district that is in already a great need. NFA is full of so many opportunities, whether it be college credit, 2-year college degrees, or skills that they can use right out of high school in many fields like welding, auto body, auto mechanics, cosmetology, or culinary arts, just to name a few. And I know this because my brother went through the auto body program and to this day does auto body because of NFA. Programs like music and fine performing arts and visual arts could be wiped out. The district has many English language learners and exceptional learners who deserve to be treated equally and get what they need. Taking funding from them will harm all of those programs. And who suffers from all the funding that harms them? The students suffer, that's who. Our Newburgh school community will suffer. I strongly oppose the New Dawn Charter School because of the programs, resources, and opportunities it will steal from all of our Newburgh students. I urge the rejection of the New Dawn Charter School.
I'm going to cut it short. Mostly everybody has said what I was going to say. My name is Lori Colaccio. I live in the city of Newburgh for many years, and I live in the town. I'm a retired NTA special education teacher, and I oppose the New Dawn Charter School. According to New York State Ed data, I'm going to skip the other stuff, this charter school is in need of comprehensive support and improvement, and all secondary indicators are at a level 1. They have had dismal graduation rates. Their attendance rate that's just as dismal. I'm not going to go through those numbers. And I am going to just end and say that I do oppose the New Dawn Charter High School 3, and I'm going to stand in support of my public schools in Newburgh.
Good evening. My name is Kelly Cassie. I am a school psychologist at New Windsor School. I've been a school psychologist for 26 years. This is my 22nd year in the Newburgh Enlarged City School District. I'm not going to reiterate, I had a lot of notes. I'm not going to reiterate what everyone else has said. I just am astounded at the contrast in data between what Newburgh offers as a public school system versus what is offered and the results that come out of our charter schools. We serve every student in the school district, regardless of need, regardless of who they are. Our teaching and support staff are required through New York State certification to have a master's degree. In contrasting what is required or not required in relation to a charter school is astounding. The statistics that were provided by Ms. Peterson earlier, I have no words. It is astounding to me that an entity can come in to our school district and $9 million can be diverted from our students to an entity that does not have proven performance. The attendance rates, the graduation rates of the charter school that was here in Newburgh and the charter schools, the other New Dawn charter schools, it's beyond description how public funds can go to support such an entity that has no proven success. I see it as a huge misuse of public funds and question how such an entity could potentially receive tax dollars to support an educational system that in fact does not seem to educate students. So as a school psychologist, as an NTA member, as a Newburgh Enlarged City School District employee, I strongly oppose the New Dawn Charter School here in Newburgh, and I beseech the New York State Regents to please deny their request to have a charter school here. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Genesis Ramos, lifelong resident of the city of Newburgh, proud graduate of this district, and county legislator representing parts of the city and town of Newburgh. I echo the sentiments of the speakers before me, and I strongly oppose the New Dawn Charter School, and I also want to discuss another angle. Many of us in this room are aware of the disastrous bill that was passed at the congressional level just a couple of months ago that threatens and, quite frankly, promises cuts to funding around Medicaid, around SNAP, and other safety net programs. These cuts will hurt our student population. Not only will they hurt our student population in terms of their quality of life, and this has been made very clear to me as chair of the Human Services Committee in the legislature, because these are not some distant realities in DC. These are very much cuts and issues that we at the local level of government, including all of you, will be faced with and will be tasked with figuring out. The state has already made it clear that they will not be able to address all of these cuts. And the reality is that most of you also know that SNAP and Medicaid indirectly impact school funding, primarily by identifying low-income students whose participation influences a district state aid allocation. And so when folks make comments like, well, I'm not on Medicaid or I don't use SNAP, it doesn't matter. We're all part of something bigger, and that's why these cuts will be extremely damaging to our district and, quite frankly, every district. When we have families that are losing access to these kinds of benefits, we also will inevitably lose access to resources in our classrooms. So having this proposal for this charter school couldn't come at a worse time. And it really and truly will just further burden and exacerbate the already the concerns and the seriousness around the cuts and the funding gaps that will come and will hit our communities. When we have reduced federal reimbursements, when fewer students are enrolled in these programs due to eligibility changes, schools inevitably will receive less federal funding. And these are the realities that are coming to every district, which is why, amongst all the reasons that the speakers before me have already mentioned, I am adamantly opposed to this charter school proposal, and I urge the Board of Regents to reject this proposal that will cause harm and is extremely reductive to the students of this district. I appreciate all of the work that all of our faculty and staff in the district do, including everyone that came out tonight and has just shared your passion, and it comes through. These cuts don't just go away. They land and will land squarely right here in our backyard. If this charter school gets approved, there will be a massive multi-million-dollar gap for the district, which could potentially translate to tax increases or cuts in services or programs. And I'm sure none of us in this room want either of those outcomes, but that will be the reality that we will be faced with if this charter school gets approved. So I echo the sentiments of everyone else that has spoken before me, and I strongly oppose this proposal.
Good evening. My name is Anita Bowles Spencer Smith, and I am an educator here in the district for 26 years, a parent of 3 children who went through the district, and I myself attended schools in Newburgh and Large City School District, class of 1985. I'm here today asking you not to bring a charter school into our district. Our public schools are the heart of this community. They welcome every child, no matter their background, and they bring families together. A charter school will take money and students away, leaving our neighborhood schools with fewer resources to give kids the support they deserve. We already have caring teachers, strong programs, and schools that are working hard to meet the needs of all students. Instead of dividing our efforts, let's keep building on the good things we already have. Please stand with our public schools and vote against the charter school. Our children and community are stronger when we stay united. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tamika Stewart. I'm a parent and resident in the city of Newburgh, and I just want to point out that there are so many wonderful things being said about the district, and I want everybody to remember that. As much of negative comments and, the perception is about Newburgh and the district, everyone here today has stated exactly what the district should be perceived as. Greatness, actually turning out really great students, and actually caring about the district and the community. So I want to commend everybody for highlighting how great the district is. In spite of, some of our challenges, we still are remaining very strong. I wanted to just state about the disingenuous nature of New Dawn Charter School. We talk about how charter schools have no one holds them accountable. On their website, it does state that Newburgh not only is number 3, but it also states that it is under construction. Where? Anybody? Where? I don't see where a New Dawn Charter School is under construction at in the city of Newburgh. And why it matters? It matters because that is such a huge misrepresentation that is completely a lie. If they're willing to exaggerate or misrepresent something as foundational as whether a school is even exist or is under construction, then it would raise a red flag for me, and it should raise a red flag for the SED as well. The number of so they will get to lie about and fib
tell stories, whichever one you prefer, about the students that they will serve, about their test scores, about the student population that they will not cherry pick, and about their overall outcomes. I am absolutely opposed to the the New Dawn Charter School coming to Newburgh, and if they are willing to misrepresent something as simple as a school being under construction here, you can just imagine what else they would misrepresent and tell stories about. So I'm urging SED to oppose the New Dawn Charter School coming to Newburgh.
Hello. I'm going to make this very quick. My name is Jen Santana. I have been a teacher in this district for 28 years. My husband is also a teacher and coach, and Newburgh is our life. I just wanted to, I'm going to totally go off script because exactly what she said, my husband and I do not live in district, and I always am very jealous of the students that go through Newburgh because of their programs. I'm a 1991 graduate of Newburgh. My mother is a graduate of Newburgh, and the programs that we have in this district are phenomenal, and where I live, we do not have those programs, and I'm always encouraging people, if you can come to Newburgh, take advantage of their programs. There's nothing like it. So I oppose the charter school also, and I'm very dedicated to public education. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Joanne Romanek. I'm a resident of New Windsor. I'm an educator in New Windsor School. And I just have to say, as a math teacher, what stuck out to me was Senator Skoufis saying 12 people out of 68,000. And he shouted that, 12 out of 68,000. Thank you. I oppose.
Good evening. My name is Stephanie Romano, and I'm currently a senior at the NFA main campus. I would like to just talk about the lack of accountability that charter schools would exactly have. Charter schools have the ability to set their own rules and policies, which can lead to variability in educational quality. Some charter schools can fail to meet requirements in the public schools would normally meet, as charter schools are not held to the same standards. Charter schools can also selectively enroll their students, which can lead to educational inequality. With our community, no child deserves to be left behind with inadequate schooling. With the accommodations that public schools provide, it is not necessary for charter schools to also do so. Also, as we are currently putting $80.7 million into our CTE school, which could be diverted from the progress of programs that are made to set students up for the minute they graduate. Also, you don't have to be a certified teacher in a charter school. So would you like a non-certified individual teaching your children? Also, as coming from someone who is heavily involved in the arts department, if $9.6 million is being stripped away from our schools, where exactly would they start with the stripping of the money? It would most likely be in the performing arts department. And it would not be very helpful to have some of my underclassmen friends have their program stripped away from them, which they are very proud of. Talking about my district after I graduate, I would like to talk about it positively. So if these policies would be stripped away from my friends and underclassmen, it would not be very so. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hi, Sarah Maida, Town of Newburgh. I'll keep it quick. I just want to say that I'm really impressed by all the speakers. Want to echo my agreement with pretty much everything that was said tonight. And I just want to say something in sort of starker terms than I think has been said. First of all, I certainly hope that those of us in this room are not the ones educating the Board of Regents on the viability of charter schools, but if that's the case, whatever. I think the larger point here is that charter schools necessarily are, or this charter school in particular, is really necessarily about taking community resources, taking money that our community generates that needs to stay here, and funneling it out to private entities. It's at the end of the day a cash grab, and it's going to come at the expense of our community, whether that's our students, our educators, or the programs the students have pointed out. And I think we can't underestimate the crunch, the financial crunch that school districts are under. And so the idea that we're going to allow folks to profit off of it while taking it out of our children's pockets is really absolutely reprehensible to me, and so I strongly oppose to. Thank you.
Before we close tonight, many of you know in this particular room, we don't often have unanimous agreement. Yet tonight we have the board, political leaders, the administration, unions, residents, teachers and staff members in unanimous agreement to oppose this charter school. And that is very, very refreshing that as a community, our message gets heard. So on behalf of the board, I thank every speaker tonight. It was meaningful. It's being recorded. Our message is going to go to Albany. And I believe we will be heard. And I do not believe this school will come into our community. Thank you. The public hearing is closed.
of regions. However, independently on our website now, if you choose to write a template letter and send it directly, you can do that as well.